Yes. Yes, we are here. But here are a few things that we'd like you to check out for your viewing pleasure. It's the new blurred order. Let's do it.
Baby, you should have went with me. It was crazy.
Babe, I didn't know you were coming back so early.
What you doing?
Just watching a movie.
Let me call you back.
Babe, I can explain.
You need to explain to me why you never told me you know Spider-Man. Hey man, what's up, bruh? Okay, well, I'm gonna head out. No, man, you good.
Alrighty, we're pulling up one more clip, and we're gonna go ahead and do roll call. Check this out.
McCann's mother has been forced to block dozens of calls after her ex-partner allegedly took her phone number and plastered on poles here around the CBD, telling people to call up and impersonate Chewbacca for a chance to win $100.
This would be the most childish breakup I've ever had. Like, all he had to do was be mature and go, I don't love you anymore, I want to move on.
The calls have been waking her and her 3 young children up at odd hours in the evening, and they're yet to stop.
I won $500.
Yeah, that is how you break up with somebody. Good morning, everybody. This is the new Blurred Order. Welcome to another session where we can discuss everything blurty, nerdy, and all that happened this week. We've got a crazy week. News was made. Let's talk about the fact that Joss Whedon is currently on trial, not in real life, but just in the array of public opinion. There's a new Moon Knight trailer out there, y'all. If you haven't seen it, I would suggest checking it out. And like I mentioned before, Josh Whedon, he said some things about Ray Fisher. It's kind of old, but it's resurfaced as of late. But you know how we kick things off. We got to talk about the homie Peacemaker and the little homie Eagly. We love little Eagly. And definitely let's discuss how Boba met Fennec, which we learned this week. Man, I'm ready to go ahead and pop it off. Let's go ahead and do it with our favorite birds of the day. We got everybody here intact. I am your boy, the real Vince Taylor. Yes, sir. Me in the flesh. Birdman Jr., Birdman Sr. Let's go ahead and do it. We've also got in the house Yazzie. What's going on, Yaz? Yaz is here, but we can't hear her. It's all to the good, though. Steph is here. What's going on, Steph?
I'm ready to discuss the stuff that y'all are interested in.
All right, we've got Tyrone in the building. What's going on, Tyrone?
Morning, what's up? How you doing?
We Gucci. We got Bad Tie in the building. What's good, Brick City Bronx?
Oh, what up?
And we are here, bro, to do what it do. This is the new Blurred Order. Every Saturday, catch us on YouTube, Facebook, as well as Twitch. Let's go ahead and get into some of these shows. Let's start with Boba Fett. It's the new Blurred Order. So this week, guys, we did get to finally see, as you all were asking for, the origin story for Fennec and Mr. Boba Fett himself. Just around the round table real quick. Just want to get an idea of whether or not y'all enjoyed this episode or not. Let's start with the positives of Mr. Tyrone, who I did see his review, and I don't know. How do you feel, sir? Do you have anything to say about this week's episode?
I remember last week I was like, I'm just gonna start watching this show. Just I'm gonna just enjoy it, no matter what, and just that kind of thing. And I tried. I really tried. Man, yeah, I got thoughts, but honestly, I was just, yeah.
All right. I don't know what we just learned just now, but it sounds like he's still trying to work out his feelings about it. Yes, you're normally pretty upbeat about it, man. How you felt about this week's episode? I saw your review. Seemed like you liked it.
I thought it was pretty badass, and all I have to say is I fucking told y'all so. Just saying. I told you Boba wants to have new things. Okay, he's a motherfucking man. All right, he's growing up. He wants an empire and a tribe. I told y'all that. Just saying. But I thought it was kind of cool how we found out that like Fennec is like a fembot. Like she's like half, you know what I'm saying, machine and shit. Like that was kind of fucking cool. I thought that was pretty dope.
That was definitely crazy. Well, also, Ty, what do you think about the show?
I mean, anytime you give me extra Fennec on screen, I love it. So I mean, there was a lot. I mean, I think I said this in the review. Like, there's still a lot of plot holes. There's still a lot of stuff that hasn't really been addressed. But anytime I can see an action-packed episode with Fennec at the forefront of it, you had me. You had me as soon as she touched the screen. So, hey baby.
All right, hey, look, calm down. All right, you know what I'm saying? We get it. All right, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to Fennec. I ain't gonna lie, like as Mina Win as the actress, you are breaking a whole bunch of barriers by being darn near 60 and being one of the most badass action characters, period. Not male or female on screen. So respect due to you. Steph, I saved you for last for a reason. Why don't you tell us how you felt about this week's episode, and maybe you can even give us your question of the day to close us out with it.
So from the time that I initially pushed start on the episode to the time I finished it, I think 3 days passed. That should tell you something about how low the stakes were and how much they failed to get me invested in what was happening. Like, there's so much backstory which doesn't feel relevant. And anyway, there was one thing I did really like about the episode. There was a cameo from one of my favorite musicians that was exciting. So my question of the day is...
Hold on. I've been waiting for this moment. All right. I've been waiting for this moment. All right.
You gotta grab it. Let's go.
All right. Hold on. So today, guess what? Stephanie has a question of the day. What's the question of the day, Steph?
The question of the day is... well, I thought you were going to put it up on the screen because I don't remember exactly how I phrased it before. Oh. Here we go. Thank you. What celebrity do you need to see cameo in a Star Wars property, and why? We've had Danny Trejo. We got Thundercat in this episode. That was super exciting. So who's a celebrity that you're like, yo, they belong in Star Wars? I got mine locked and loaded. I will save it. But who is someone who's not been in Star Wars yet that you want to see in one of their media properties?
All right. Loving that question. So keep that bookmarked in the back of y'all heads. Comment section, everybody watching live. We want your answers by the end of this episode. Who, if you want to have a Star Wars cameo, is it going to be and why? So let us know. And everybody on the panel, hopefully by the end of this show, we have some answers as well. So for right now, though, she did bring up something very interesting. So first of all, Stephanie brought up the fact that Thundercat was in this. I'm gonna keep it real. I didn't know who he was. I know who Thundercat is, but I hadn't seen him. I did a review on him, not on him, but on the fact that I called him. I said Fennec Chan's got patched up by a dude that looks like Black Ken from Street Fighter. I didn't know at the time that he actually was Thundercat, who did make the theme song for Yasuke, for those of y'all that are familiar with anime characters.
Oh, wow.
So what's your infatuation with Thundercat, Steph? I mean,
I love his music. He has made some of my favorite songs. His music's really good. His videos are like weird, quirky, and he really stands for everything that we stand for. He is Black and weird and does what he likes, and has made a career out of breaking stereotypes for what you expect Black men musicians to look and sound and act like. And I love that he just does his own thing unapologetically.
All right, but I could have done without him like doing the hair flip so many times where he was like, that's all I gotta say. Like, why is he flipping it to go back down? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was wondering why that was happening, and we were emphasizing that shit so much. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, all like.
Yeah, man, that's what it looked. Evidently, that's a trait that comes not with long hair but blonde hair, and as you see, he's rocking it to the T. But you like the fact that she's a fembot, huh? Yes.
I wasn't hating on it, to be honest with you. I mean, it kind of makes a lot of sense, you know, how her 60-year-old ass is fucking kicking everyone's ass, you know, like she was killing it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm a little confused because, as you know, Tyrone, we've been watching Star Wars shows, movies for decades, and I have yet to have any indication that this was a part of the lore of Fennec being part android, being a cyborg, so to speak. Is there any history to kind of justify this turn, this detour we've taken in Star Wars lore?
Oh, this actually doesn't go against anything that's established. I think actually it was the end of Mandalorian where she was in a couple episodes, and I think she actually opened up the flap in her top to show that she had those parts in there. So that was actually, so we knew that going in. We just didn't have the story. We didn't have like all the detail, which frankly I didn't really think was necessary. But you know, we have it now, so yay.
Well, why don't you think anything is necessary? Like,
it's just
everybody doesn't know.
No, I mean, here's the thing. So the thing with this show that's getting me, because I love the fan service stuff. I love seeing cool shots of the ship, blowing up an entire biker gang, killing people indiscriminately. That's Boba stuff. You know what I mean? Which I thought we weren't doing that, but that's a whole other thing. And then I like to see, like, I love the shot of like going over the Sarlacc pit, but what we've done is we spent so much time and we're just spending just so much of our not much screen time just hanging out with each other. And not even like, it's not like we're hanging out with two dynamic people. It's Fennec Shand, who has mysterious and smirky, and then Boba Fett, who has just talking. You know what I mean? So it's like we're not getting much from these guys, and I found myself just like, why are we doing this? Like, I thought you were at no point. Now I'm ranting. I'm ranting now. Give me some time.
Please continue, please.
I thought Boba Fett was done killing, right? Didn't we establish that? But like, I thought he was like, yeah, that's not me anymore. I'm trying to find my tribe. But then he just goes and like blasts up all these people, which I'm actually like, this makes more sense for me in the realm of Boba Fett, whereas the rest of the show hasn't. But like, they're just kind of like jumping into things and out of things kind of as needed, and it's all just kind of falling apart. And I'm just like, it's just.
He told her he was on his quest to get some people back and get his armor. So like, I mean, it's not like he didn't tell us.
Well, I mean, I understand like that he's, on these, the missions. It's not jiving with what they told us he was from the beginning of this show, which is this changed guy who's, doing all this stuff. I'm also glad you brought up the armor, because like, so I guess because he was conscious when he crawled out of the Sarlacc pit,
yes,
fully armored, and he witnessed the Jawa stealing his armor. But I guess that like when he had a moment to just kind of like chill out and hang out, he was like, you know what? I bet I took my armor off inside. All right. Left it there, and now I got to go back and grab it. Like,
okay, all right. All right. Let me pause, Tyrone. He is on full rant mode. He's places with Bad Ty today. He is. I love this version of Tyrone, by the way. The fuck that I don't give a shit. I hate this shit. And I'm keeping it real about it. I love it. Yeah. But Bad Ty, I think that Tyrone has a good point, but there's also, I think, something to be said about the fact that he did tell us that when you do go into the Sarlacc pit, that you have toxins injected into you, right? And you can't really feel, you don't know what the fuck's going on. I submit to the jury that Exhibit A, one, Boba Fett was not necessarily in his right state of mind when he first came outside of the Sarlacc pit, and thus will probably inhibit his memory so that he doesn't even remember whether or not or where the hell his armor is. That's the explanation that makes sense to me, Bad Ty. I don't know if that's the actual explanation, but I completely understand Tyrone's frustration with the storyline bouncing back and forth. He's like, bruh, how you thought, like, wait till you see his review. He's like, I don't get what the fuck, why the hell is he looking for his armor in the pit? How does he think he got out of the pit? You know what I'm saying? Tyrone. Bad Time. What say you, my friend? And what you liked about the episode, if you liked it at all? I don't know. Other than Fennec.
I totally get where Tyrone is coming from, and I can see why things don't seem to correlate. But I think it's because we keep going with the flashbacks and everything. It because they keep going back and forth. At times, it can confuse you, and you can get lost in the timeline. So to Tyrone, it doesn't appear as though things are playing out the way that we're being told, because in one episode you hear Boba Fett talking about his changes that he wants to make, the type of person he wants to be, and so on and so forth, and then you see which is a flashback of him being in the pit and then going through the process of meeting Fennec and everything like that. So sometimes, because they keep flashing back and going forward, you're confused about the timeline. But him killing the biker gang and him doing all this was pre him coming to where he's at right now. So he may very well be in the mindset of being a changed individual and doing better, because he was able to get some closure by killing that biker gang and avenging the Tuskens and everything like that. So where we're at right now, as it stands in this episode, is Boba's completely healed. He is in the midst of forming a defensive strategy and an army. And I think moving forward, I don't think at this point flashing back anymore is relevant. I think everything that they planned on telling in this episode was told. And even with that being said, I'm right there with you, Tyrone. I still feel like a lot of time is being wasted where you could actually be explaining things that we care about, but yet for whatever reason the director keeps on missing that part of the storyline.
I do just want to say I'm not confused about the timeline. I'm there with it. Like I get it. They're just doing a bad job with it. I feel like, if anything, because of all the different directions they keep trying to go with people's personalities and their reactions to things, it's just it's leaving some holes there, and it's kind of for example, like in this situation where he went to kill the bikers. Yes, it was when he first met Fennec, or just after they first met, and she got her new parts, and which she recovered from death really quickly, by the way, like overnight, literally. Which is another thing. Again, this show, but he was up until that point. He wouldn't have even really. I'm trying to hide my emotions. Here's what's because I miss. Here's why I got my picture of the original Boba Fett back there, because like this makes more sense. Like, and he did have tribes before, but anyway. So back to the killing these bikers. Like he was, he spent time with the Tuskens. They died and stuff, and I get that would traumatize you, and that would actually, like, these people that you considered your family are now dead, right? They were the ones who changed him into this new mindset. So story-wise, you would say this is the moment where you either dedicate to their memory the real idea that you're moving forward and not go and kill people, or you're like, nah, I'm Boba, I'm gonna go kill people, and then like you move in either direction that way. But they were just like, he's changed, but he's gonna kill him. He's gonna kill those people, but he's changed. Right. You know what I mean? And that's where it is. Like when story wise, like the way the story is progressing, the way his personality is progressing, it jumps in and out of it whenever it needs to. And that's why when Stephanie was talking about there not being stakes and there not being any weight to it, it's because none of it seems to matter until it needs to happen in the show. Like it doesn't stick with, like, these personality types don't stick with the characters. It's just whatever they need to be at the time, that's what they are. And it just doesn't really, it takes all the weight off of these changes.
All right. Come on, Tyrone. Other Ty.
Yeah. Tyrone, with that assessment, I don't remember the Tuscans teaching him to be a better individual. What I do remember the Tuscans teaching him is how to survive with them. And he did kill uh a whole train full of people with the Tuscans in order to make sure that those same people weren't able to kill them. So as far as like them being a non-violent tribe that's teaching him to be some type of great individual and good guy. I never saw that by the Tuscan tribe. I never saw anybody over there like, yeah, this is how we spread goodwill and cheer. None of that ever surfaced in that group. If anything, he's practicing every day to be a stronger fighter, and learning how to defend himself in their way and stuff like that. So this idea that they were the reason that he made that change. I think his experience with almost dying changed his perspective on how he's living.
Well,
That's
I thought we all agreed that this is why he's the new Boba Fett now, because he has spent this time with this tribe, and he had this experience. I thought we agreed that's why he was not the Boba Fett that we knew.
Well, I don't think, as far as us agreeing on that, I don't necessarily think that we assess the reason that he's the way he is to the Tuscans training him or teaching him to be that way. I think his experience in the Sarlacc pit, almost dying, being them saving his life, him seeing and being around what we would consider children, because that's what he was. He was around a little boy that was like his little homeboy. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that change a person. But the Tuscans as a whole and as a community, as a group, I don't think they were teaching him anything to change his perspective on life.
Well, so we don't know why he is how he is. I mean, we can guess.
Wait. That's why I said, that's why I put my hand up. Okay, so we do. So when him and Fennec were in front of the fire, and he was like about to, like they were like basically like figuring out what they were gonna do next. You know what I'm saying? Like once they got the ship, like what was gonna happen next. He literally said, like, I don't want to keep killing people. Like I'm working for idiots. I don't want to keep killing people and getting myself in harm's way. You know what I'm saying? Like when I could just be the head dude. He literally said that to her, and then he said on top of that, that I need a tribe. You can do more with a tribe than not. And Fennec said that the Tuscans made him soft. He said, no, the Tuscans helped me realize what you can do with a tribe that you can't do alone. So like that whole part right there was answered in this episode, like with their conversation.
I saw the conversation, without a doubt. But it's still I get the tribe thing, which I mean, he's grown up with people, like he grew up with people that, a bunch of clones, he had a father, I don't get this idea that he never had anybody around him. Cause like for a lot of his life he did, but that's just another one of those things that they just kind of like forgot about in the show, I guess.
Yeah, but he was a hired killer. Like from the time that you can remember, like we saw Boba Fett as a child. When we saw him again, he was a grown ass man, fucking murking people. He was a mercenary. So we don't really know, like, if he was with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, someone must have trained him to be a killer the way he is, but we don't know that he had a family setting. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a child and he was holding his father's head, and it was only him and his dad and the Camino people. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't really even have a family then either. So you have to think about it. And the near-death experience coming out of the Sarlacc pit, I mean, it would make anybody, consider like, hey, I almost died because I was going after fucking, like someone I shouldn't even been going after because someone paid me to do that shit because they're too lazy to fucking do it. So it's like he's having a whole revelation. Like, think about it. Like, Daniel gave us some really good insights because Daniel reads the books in the comment section. Thank you, Daniel. And thank you, everybody in the comment section this morning. You guys are fucking fire. But anyway, so Daniel was saying, like, all of this time period that we are seeing is within 5 to 7 years, like from him being with the Tuscans, coming out of the Sarlacc pit to him getting his ship. So you got to think about it in half a decade, you know what I'm saying, or almost a decade, all these memories, all these, you know, things that he wants to accomplish, and like he's thinking about his past that he did and why he did the things and how it turned out, and like, hey, my dad died as a child doing the job that I did. Do I really want that fucking life? Do I really want to continue this legacy, or do I want to be more than this? Do I want to be Boba Fett? I want to be the daimyo. I want to be the fucking person that everybody comes to and they get respect from. Remember, they were all at that community table and he told everybody, I just want your loyalty. That's it. I'm going to do all the work. You don't have to fucking do anything. But when they come to you, deny them your loyalty. That's all I want.
Okay. I just want to
another scene that threw me. But like, again, I want you to know, like, I understand what the show it has shown. Here's the problem. Like, a lot of this stuff that we're discussing right now, we're having to come from the point of like Daniel Biddle is basically a Star Wars historian, right? Like he's filling us in on all these. But what I'm saying, my argument is not that these things don't exist in the world. It's that this show's doing a bad job of giving them to us. That's been my argument from the beginning, is that the show's not communicating these ideas well. All of this stuff that we've gotten from Boba Fett's background and how he might be feeling at this time, and all this other stuff is stuff that came from prequel movies and the original saga, and stuff that Daniel Biddle knows in the book, but this show hasn't really been giving us these things, and it's been kind of dropping the ball when it comes to really understanding or helping us understand like what the hell Boba's going through at this moment. Like we can guess from some of his past, and we can guess from things he's doing right now, like maybe how he's feeling about some things. Like, yeah, when people you've been hanging out with for months or years or whatever die, like that's gonna suck. But like the most emotion he showed in this entire show was when he looked at his ship, and like you saw some little twinkles in his eyes. You know what I mean? Like that's the most emotion I've seen from this dude in this show. Otherwise, it's all just been straight faced. Like when he took revenge on these people who killed his new like surrogate family. Just a little bit of a nod at Fennec. You know what I mean?
He's a bounty hunter.
But is he a bounty hunter, or is he a guy that's been changed, into a new, way of existing, way of being, wanting to, make the streets safe in this Mos Espa, which
he didn't find Jesus, okay? That's all I'm saying. Like, he's a fucking bounty hunter that has come to terms with the fact of his, like, we all have a moment in life that shows us our growth, okay? You know what I'm saying? That one moment.
And we can agree on what that moment is in this show. That's the thing. Like, nobody can agree on what that moment is on this show. And that's the problem.
He came out of the Sarlacc pit. The nigga almost died. He lived with the Tuskens for a while. They took his ass in. They made him a tribe member. Again, like, he didn't want to, but because he killed that monster and saved that child, they made him a tribe member. They made him see things differently. So now that he's seeing things differently, he's trying to live a new life. Of course he's going to be killing people in the fucking way. He's a fucking bounty hunter. That's like telling someone who doesn't smoke. Like, hey,
what you're telling me though is he's made these big changes. These huge things in his life changed him, but they didn't change him.
I mean, he's working on his change. That shit don't happen overnight, bro. I mean, it takes a while for people to like think about it. It takes 21 days to make a habit. Okay, we don't know how many days it's been. Calm the fuck down. Damn.
I mean, it's been a lot of days. But what I'm saying is the show, like, I'm not seeing any like. Is the actor showing you anything? Is the story of this show showing you anything about like this man making any changes? It's just him like acting, doing things. It's him just like.
Do you want to know why you hate this show so much? I'm gonna tell you right.
I don't hate the show.
All right. Do you want to know why? It's because this whole saga is about stuff that was written about a while ago. We only knew about this character for 5 minutes. Daniel, we already established, is the OG on the fucking book of Boba Fett. You know what I'm saying? So he read this shit. So you got to think about it from like the comic book, like the book standpoint. People who read it and now are watching it, they've been waiting this whole time. It's the same shit with like Marvel, and how when they do things, it's like someone of the comic books and people get pissed about it because, you know what I'm saying, like things have changed. It's all a thing that we have to learn to understand. Like when The Mandalorian came out, we loved it, yes, because it was something different. It was all new. But like this is a character that's been established. It's only had 5 minutes of fucking airtime before this whole book came out, and we fell in love with him. So yes, there's going to be missing context in a lot of different things because we don't have all of the goddamn information. We're getting it. You just have to be patient.
Would you like to know why I am having complaints about the show? Which I don't hate the show, but I just if you'd like to know why I have complaints about the show, if I could give you my opinion on my opinion, that would be great.
Go ahead.
They're not doing a good job of telling the story. Like it's I'm not. My issue is not with what they're doing to the character, right? It's just make it make sense. You know what I mean? They're just like, hey, this is different now for some reasons sometimes and some reasons other times. And like, it's not, they're not, I like The Mandalorian not because it was new and it was different. I liked it because it was good. The dude barely spoke, but we knew what he was feeling. Like, you know, whether it was because of the way that it was shot, the scoring of the show, that kind of stuff, those things help you to tell a story in a show. Like, I'm just talking from not a Star Wars perspective, not a Boba Fett perspective, but just a show's perspective. We never had to guess what Din was feeling because the show did a really good job of exhibiting those things and showing those things. We saw his growth. His growth was very clear throughout the show because they did a really good job of portraying it. By the time he took his helmet off, like we knew how serious of a moment that was for him. You know, like these things had weight. They're not putting any of like this. Boba Fett doesn't have any of this weight, and this is with a character that we've known and we've seen, and that has had some, you know, people feel things for, you know, right. People feel things for Boba Fett. But right now I can't feel anything for this dude because they're just not giving me any reason to feel anything. You know what I mean? My issue isn't with, oh, Boba Fett's not Boba Fett anymore. You could do whatever you want with him. Make him an interesting character, but make it interesting. Put some stuff in there. Because right now, the only thing this show seems to be doing is giving us reasons to get cool shots of ships and fights and stuff like that, which if you want to do fan service, fine, do fan service. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much what I have to take from this show. But they're not building any reason for me to really care about what's going on here.
Okay.
Unmute yourself.
Let me say this real quick. I've never seen that vein in Tyrone's forehead before. Like, he's clearly upset. I don't know what you did to him, Yaz, but he is outside. No, he's not upset. I'm just kidding. But despite me not necessarily agreeing with Tyrone, Tyrone is not alone. Like Tyrone joins the ranks of millions of disappointed Star Wars fans that are like, look, bro, fuck this stupid ass Book of Boba Fett shit, or Bobby Womack or whatever Stephanie would call it. You know what I'm saying? Like there is the camp of, look, bro, this is trash, and I cannot believe Disney has resulted to. Let's just admit the fact that there are a lot of different genres of Star Wars fans, and all of them are not going to be pleased with this series. All right, I believe I'm more of a pop culture Star Wars guy. All right, I'm like, look, give me Star Wars, and I'm either going to love it or I'm going to like it a little bit, but I damn near probably won't hate it. You know what I'm saying? Some other folks hold it a little tighter to the chest. But let's discuss some of the things that we loved and didn't like about this episode. I mean, we've already learned that Tyrone loves the fact that he forgot his, or didn't remember whether he forgot his his best card armor inside the Sarlacc pit. What are some other things? I know there's some things that I'm gonna talk to you. Let me bring up Stephanie. Stephanie, some of the things that I like, I'm gonna throw this to you. I like the fact that he took revenge. I like the fact that Boba Fett, despite him being reformed, is still a killer. I don't think that I ever heard him say that he wasn't going to be a killer anymore. This is not Batman. This is not Spider-Man. Boba just was like, look, I just don't want to work for nobody no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to fucking do all this stuff for all these idiots who don't really know what to do. So if I need to avenge somebody for my own benefit, then that's what I'm going to do. I like that. I like the fact that we did meet Thundercat and that he's a tattoo parlor mod guy. I like the fact that the Pikes are now they going to war with the Pikes. And Stephanie had an interesting take on the whole finding Fennec situation, because we didn't really know a lot. All we know is that he rolled up on Princess while she was sleeping in the castle, didn't know what was going on with her. You know what I'm saying? Was just like, you know what, come with me. I don't know, there's something utterly disturbing and benevolent about that. But Steph, what are some of your thoughts?
So just to address finding Fennec, first of all, who the hell managed to knock her out is the most interesting character in this story. That's who I want to see.
Right, you don't want to see that guy. He was in The Mandalorian season 1 or 2, whatever. He was in The Mandalorian, and yeah, that guy sucked. But
who was that? I forget.
Remember, there was an episode. I interrupted Stephanie. I wanted to just give her that real quick, but do you want to know, Stephanie, who this was?
So we do know how Fennec ended up passed out in the desert.
There was that moment like Mando met that dude, that kind of like snarky dude, and he was like, you know, I want to be a bounty hunter too, and he was like, I'm gonna go and find this person with you, and they agreed to join forces just for this one episode, and then Fennec had dude, and then he escaped or whatever, and then gut shot her, and then bounced. It was, remember that dude? It's very forgettable guy. The actor wasn't great. It was when, remember Mando on the speeder bikes? It was like the first time we saw Mando on a speeder. It was because he and that dude grabbed speeders. They left the town to go and hunt down Fennec.
The sheriff dude, that guy?
No. That was he was actually cool. It was the some random little prick that he met at a bar.
Oh, okay.
Remember, he was supposed to be real cool and like a Han Solo type, but he just wasn't. He was just like, I'm also part of the guild, and I need to make a name for myself. And
was he human?
No, he was human.
Was it Bill Burr?
No.
Action Jackson.
Nope. Yeah, it was. This guy was very forgettable. But basically the character that shot Fennec, he's not. Don't even worry about it. Like he doesn't even warrant this much discussion. I'm sorry I brought him up. Let's put him back to bed.
Well, hold on. Yeah, you did interrupt Stephanie, but for good reasons. But real quick, I want to touch back on this because you completely shattered my idea of the timeline just now. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm thinking, how is Fennec? How did that happen in the timeline? That is a flashback for Boba Fett, but is a current timeline for Mandalorian. Now you've completely fucked my head up. Like, we're gonna have to go over this, but before we do, let's let Stephanie get her word out, please. Stephanie, if you don't mind, after being rudely interrupted by Mad Tyrone is gonna be his new name. What? Tell us your feelings, please.
It's all good. That was helpful information. Thank you, Tyrone. That I don't think that we ever saw Fennec's wound. She just looked like passed out or sleep. Boba Fett picks her up and is like, "You gotta help her right now. This woman's about to die." How do you know? When did you become a doctor? Like, I saw nothing to indicate that she was on death's door. He just decided that, and then
she was pale.
I mean, like she looked like she needed a rest and maybe some cold water on her face. But then, okay, like I have thoughts about this. No consent. Let's just fill her stomach up with metal decision that this man made all by himself. Like, I don't. Anyway.
He switched hands to do that too, girl.
Yeah, that was weird. The thing that bothered me most about this episode, though, I agree with Vince. The most interesting thing I've ever seen him do was when he got revenge by killing the Pikes. I was like, okay, he's a little bit cold-blooded. Completely undid all of that progress when he had his little sit down with the local mayors or whatever and was like, hey guys, I'm thinking we should all work together and we can all get rich. And they were like, nah, how about we just kill you instead? And he was like, okay, like it's fine. I'll fight the whole army by myself. Don't worry about it. Like, just don't betray me, okay? Please, guys. Right? So weak. It was so weak. I really was expecting him to be like, all right, y'all not gonna fight with me? Well, don't come to me for help. Don't ask me for anything. And I'm gonna take out the Pikes and then y'all next. But he was just like, okay, you don't want to help. Like, I'll do it myself. Just like, don't betray me. Just like, still be my friend, okay? It was so weak.
I gotta be mad, Tyrone, now and interrupt a little bit. All right. He didn't just let them say, look, we're gonna kill you.
He got walked all the way over.
No, you're maybe misremembering because it was in that moment that they said all that when his pet spoke up from downstairs and was like, oh, by the way, here I go. And I think that was when Boba Fett was like, you know what? I ain't gotta sit here and talk shit to y'all. Because all I got to do is push a button and y'all fall downstairs. And by the Rancor speaking up, that's him saying, look, I don't need to talk shit. All right. My actions will dictate my badassness. Now, I get it. We want him to be a shit talker too. But Boba Fett, this is the most he's ever talked.
Like, so what you're saying is he has power as long as people are sitting on the trapdoor. Otherwise,
what I'm saying is
he's learning how to ride the Rancor.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is that Boba Fett does not talk his strategy. Boba Fett executes his strategy, and he shows things. He doesn't just talk things. Like there's been no indications that Boba Fett comes out and does like a Han Solo type, hey, fuck you, I'm shooting first, scruffy nerf herder shit. Boba Fett's like, look, all right, we ain't gonna talk. Okay, cool. Notice, did he send any warnings to that freaking Hell's Angels gang? Like, yo, motherfucker, I'm coming for y'all. Yo, no, he showed up and killed every last one of them. That's what he does. He's not here to proclaim his badassness. He's here to be a badass. What's up, Tymes?
I have to disagree with you, man. What? So listen, he did go kill the biker gang. Yes, he did. But one of my major complaints from the very onset of this show was the fact that Boba talked too much. Like that was literally one of the things that I highlighted was why is Boba opening his mouth so much? Why is he talking so much? Why is he communicating so much? And that's literally what he's doing now. So the actions that you're referring to, and that he's not doing, is I think one of the major reasons why there are so many Star Wars fans that are upset with the writing. Tyrone just took about 10 minutes to explain all of this to us and basically saying the same thing. Like, look, you're at one moment you're saying he's not a killer. Then the next moment he is a killer. Then here you are saying he's a diplomat. He's instead of actually, just enacting his anger or rage or just his will, instead he's negotiating with a bunch of servants, because these dudes were all previous servants.
Servants?
They served Jabba. They served what was the one that
Bibba Fortuna?
Yeah, Fortuna. They were all part. They all served him. They were all in works with him, paying tributes and all of those things. Yes, he was they were all bosses except for Boba. Boba then came through and gave people the choice of whether or not you want to give me tribute, whether or not you want to join the cause, whether or not you want to do whatever. And then to further it add insult to injury, when they was leaving, Fennec said, "Do you trust him?" He was like, "Nah."
And then Fennec was like, they made you weak. Yeah, she said they made you soft. This
like this is all. So when you sit there and you say like, "Oh, he doesn't have to show power because Sarlacc's there," the Sarlacc's not when they leave. When they leave,
Rancor.
They're like, "Fuck him,
Rancor.
Fuck what he said. We're gonna sign up with the Pikes. I wish he would. I wish he might. Fuck him." That's what they're saying. That's
but Ty, the first or second episode, he said, "I do not want to rule by fear." You're saying he should rule by fear. This is the theme of this whole series. He does not want to rule the way Jabba did. Right. And he has to show Fennec and the other folks that don't work for, but I believe are crime bosses that are beneath Jabba. All right. I mean, he summoned this is kind of like that scene in Scarface where all of the bosses are sitting around discussing how Scarface needs to kill the dude who's about to talk about him on TV. Rare flashback. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. If you haven't, shame on yourself, kill yourself. But I think that the fact that we have this discussion is fascinating, because I think that we want Boba Fett to be what we want him to be, and Jon Favreau has decided who he is, and nobody likes it.
Has he though? I don't know if Jon Favreau has decided who he is.
I don't think he has,
because he's so many things.
I think he has. I think y'all just don't like it. I think we've decided, and Steph, I'm going to you. I think that what we've learned here is that Jon Favreau has decided that Boba Fett of Star Wars fame, episode 4, 5, and 6, even episodes 1, 2, and 3, is no longer it does not exist in this timeline. We have a refined, reformed Boba Fett who doesn't wear a helmet, who talks a lot, who doesn't want to go around hunting people, who doesn't want to work for nobody, who's basically trying to own the store that he works in as of right now. And that makes people mad because they want Boba Fett from the movies, which I think there's reason for that to be. There's definitely a room for anger there. I think that there is room for a Boba Fett. The book of Boba Fett maybe should have been a series that embodied him as the bounty hunter before he was put into the Sarlacc pit. I think that's what people really wanted to see.
Well, I would like to. I'm not necessarily in the camp of he has to be the old Boba Fett. I'm not in that camp. I don't care who he is. Just make him something. And right now he's like, I don't want to rule by fear. And if they finish that conversation, it was like, okay, well, how do you want to rule? And then he's like, respect. And then he's like, okay, well, how you gonna do that? And he's like, I guess I'll figure it out. Like what? Because what is he doing? So he's his job.
He did say this. He did. I don't remember which episode he said it, but he did say in like one of the previous episodes, when he became, the daimyo, he did say like, I don't want to rule, like Jabba, like Bibba, like all of them, because like they all ruled in a way that like got them killed.
Right.
Well, and so far, like he's not helping himself very much.
Okay, but wait a minute though. But if you think about it from a business standpoint of it, he invited them into his house and told them, I can come after all y'all stuff. I could if I want to. I could take it. I could have it. I'm not going to do that though. I'm gonna give you a fucking choice. Instead of you paying me, we're just gonna be alliances. That's it. He gave them a choice. Like he spoke like a fucking boss would. So you got to think about it from a boss standpoint. I don't want war. I don't have to pay. Like all I have to do is like be loyal. You got to think about it. Like
and then they were like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And then he was like, okay.
Though, they had to think about it. Some of them were like, okay, and some of them were like, all right, this motherfucker's full of shit. We'll see how this goes. But what did we see? The Pike Syndicate went to one of them in the end. And they were like, no, we don't want to join you. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up. They didn't join. Like they didn't take the money from the tribute from the Pike, didn't they?
Did that happen?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
That must have been after.
I need to rewatch that because the Pike Syndicate ends up
scene.
showing up. It's like at the very end. The Pike Syndicate ends up showing up at like one of the people he just saw and tries to give them like money or whatever. And they say no.
I don't remember that part, but hey, look,
watch the ending of it.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Been trying to say something. I want to just speak to this though, really quick, Vince, because she said it was a business deal, and so like in a business deal, you don't set the terms and then have the other party renegotiate the terms, and then you feel like you won the business deal. That's not how that works. But he came in and he set the terms. They were like, "Fuck that." He was like, "Okay."
Yeah, but like Vince was saying, technically, he's the kingpin. They're the smaller organizations under. Yes, they were all smaller organizations under Bib Fortuna and under Jabba. He's just telling them, I can own your shit. I'm not gonna fucking take your shit if you work with me. But if you don't work with me, you're gonna be fucked by me and you're gonna be fucked by the Pike Syndicate. It's your fucking choice who you want to go with, but choose wisely. And that's when the Rancor came out, when they were all like, oh, this motherfucker. And then they were like, okay, this motherfucker got a Rancor in this bitch. Like, you have to think it's a power move. The whole thing was a fucking power move. Just telling them, I could have your shit. You can see I have your shit. But if you want to be smart and you want to keep your shit, this is how you're going to do it. I'm not going to be like the other idiots before me that fucking made you pay them. I'm going to be different so you respect me in a way that, like, you know, it's an equal thing. Like he said to Fennec, I'll be loyal to you if you're loyal to me. I got your back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want anything from you. Everything that we have, we'll split it down the middle. That's what Boba's trying to do. He's ushering a new era of daimyo. So you got to give the man props. I mean, he's got balls.
Yeah. I don't know if you all, for Stephanie, I've been wanting to get you to say that, but I don't know if you all ever saw Carlito's Way.
Absolutely.
But when Carlito finally was able to rise to the top, they was like, well, who's the boss? And he was like, there are no bosses. Mm-hmm. We're all the boss. You know, I don't know if y'all remember that. And he tried to like change the culture of gang of crime lords. And I mean, it's a terrible comparison, but it is what it is.
Organized crime.
But I think what's happening here is I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm siding with Boba Fett because this is the way that I would probably rule. Like, I don't always got to slap somebody and kill them to show them that I'm effective. Like, I can actually demonstrate how effective I am, and then folks will follow because they know better not to. But anyway, I know that's not how we all see it. Stephanie, what was you trying to say?
Yeah, sorry, Steph.
No, it's all good. Daniel said Boba Fett sounds like a millennial in America, and I think he's absolutely right. He's actually giving me very much Michael Scott from The Office vibes. He said at one point, I think he was asked, he was like, people have asked, would I rather be feared or loved? I want people to be afraid of how much they love me. Like very much the vibes I'm getting from Boba Fett. Like this man needs to understand you're walking into a situation where people are used to being ruled by fear. So you start trying to rule with like love and respect.
Right.
Nobody's gonna listen to you, dog. You go, baby. Like you might be the most peaceful, positive parenting person in the world, but you go babysit some badass kids that are used to being yelled and threatened. And like, if you break this lamp, I'm gonna beat your ass. You come in and you're like, hey, Bobby, if you touch the lamp, I'm gonna be very disappointed, and you're gonna have to sit in the sadness chair. Bobby's like, fuck your sadness chair. I don't care. I'm gonna do what I want because I'm not afraid of you. And these consequences you're offering are not a thing that concerns me. I'm used to getting smacked with my grandma's belt. I don't care about your sadness chair. This is what Boba Fett is coming in to do. People who are used to being ruled by violence. And he's like, guys, let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya and be friends. And they're like, we're going to disappoint you if we don't do what you want. Okay, that's fine. Like, it's one thing with the Robo Power Rangers who he's building in his image to, relate to the way that he rules. But these people that are used to Jabba the Hutt, you got to deal with them the way they're used to being dealt with until a new order comes in.
So what I'm hearing from Stephanie, it sounds like Mary Poppins has now been put in charge of watching Bebe's kids, and
yes,
it is not it's not necessarily going to learn the easy way that tea and crumpets and pippity poppity boo and all that other good stuff. That ain't gonna work when it's like, look, it ain't time to go. You trying to leave us? Hey man, you know what I'm saying? Like, she gonna have to learn. Look, this is how things are done over here. But I guess the question is, will Mary Poppins be able to win over Bebe's kids? Sounds like in this case, Boba Fett has ironed this out smart enough. So I'm almost positive at the end of this series, we're gonna be like, I see what happened. Especially now, if we could just kind of, because we got to keep this moving. We about to go ahead and get into a little bit of Peacemaker. But a few more things happened in this episode that I think are worth discussing. Number one, the Black Chrysanthemum returns in his usual form, gives us his Wookiee moment where he rips off the arm of somebody in the bar. Thank God, we need violence somewhere. I'm so glad he chose violence. And this is like, Stephanie, the definition of he chose violence. Like, this is literally the definition of it. Because she was like, look, you don't need this little, man, you ain't nobody. Come on, remember when we used to stream your name? Spaniard. You know what I'm saying? And everybody used to love you. That's not who you are. Man, put the boy down. He all right. We'll even clean your tab away. And he was like, all right, so break this dude's arm and not pay no money. Or break his arm, pay the money. And he's like, you know what? Boop, I choose violence.
Right?
Oh, no blood. It's okay. Here, I'll pay for my tab. See you later. By the way, holler at me, Boba. I love that aspect.
Why was he so mad? What set him off? I didn't even understand why he was like murder mad like that.
He's racist.
So he was watching these guys at the bar. He was sitting at the bar watching these guys gamble.
Trandoshans.
Yeah, thank you. And watching them like gamble, and they were winning. And I don't know what his grudge is with them, honestly.
So he's just a hater? He's just a hater.
They were too excited. They were too excited.
Daniel just actually gave us another bit of tidbit. Thank you, Daniel. So Trandoshans used to enslave Wookiees. So that makes a great, like,
okay.
That I completely understand why he ripped his arm off.
This is relevant information, Star Wars.
Well,
that's the deep down nerd shit, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that's what Tyrone is trying to say. If I could jump in, Tyrone is basically saying the reason Stephanie didn't know that is because they're not telling the story well enough so that you do know these things.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I understand that these are like Nazis, okay, cool, rip his arm off. I'm rooting for that. But he just looks like an asshole that's mad because some other dudes are having fun at the bar. Like, context is everything, and Star Wars is not giving it to me.
Well, no.
They didn't give me that.
Star Wars is a deep content, a very, very deep content manifested entity.
They said if you're not in deep, fuck you. We're not telling you nothing. Good luck with it.
The context exists in all of the other content that they've developed.
I'm not going that deep. Did they want new fans or not? They said, fuck the new fans. We're not explaining nothing to y'all. Either you've been here for the whole ride or too bad.
Okay. All right. You're right.
That's a fair question.
That is fair. That is definitely fair. let's remember when we first started watching Boba Fett that the writer Jon Favreau said that his objective was to marry old school, Star Wars fans with new school fans, and so that means
failing. He's
he
not
is
making
failing.
me a new school fan. He's not giving me what I need to become that. And I'm trying. I'm watching this shit for y'all, okay? He had an opportunity to turn me into a Star Wars fan, and he's failing miserably.
Watch The Mandalorian.
I doubt we'll get a different
Stephanie, watch Mandalorian. I think this would be an interesting experiment. You should watch The Mandalorian. I won't say much else, but watch The Mandalorian. I'd love to see your thoughts on that story.
All right, let me give you my impression of Stephanie watching Mandalorian. Okay, so who the fuck is the child's father? Like, why is there a baby just in the middle of nowhere? And what the fuck? And why is he have on this big ass helmet? Is he black under there? Is it a woman? Where is the woman, by the way? Now just playing. By the way, there is just a spoiler. There is a black woman Mandalorian. So that does make it a little tasty for you there.
Real quick, I do want to just to real quick to Daniel's point. I don't know if you could bridge 50 years of fandom together. I think you can, and I think it's just tell a good story. I honestly think that's all we need.
I frankly think that you cannot with previously conceived stories, because when you have a story that folks have too high of expectations for, it's destined to fail, which is why, again, I'm repeating myself, which is why Mandalorian was successful, is because it was a blank slate. And people can't use the books. I mean, it was good, yes, but it also there's nothing to compare it to. What's up, Ty?
Hey, I just want to give props to Minister Q, because when Minister Q was here, he basically said that Wookiees do this, pull it heads off, pop heads off, arms off. And he couldn't understand why the Wookiee didn't just pop off Boba Fett's arms and his head and all of that kind of stuff. And clearly he can do it. So it's one of those things where it's like you see this episode, you see him grab up this little lizard looking dude, you know what I mean, and pop his arms off and pick him up in the air, and nobody can stop him, nobody can do nothing, everything. But when little Boba was fighting him, it was all good. He could get tossed all across the room. He's not fully healed, but yet you could stand up to the black Kersantan and then turn around and hire him. Because last week, I think it was you, Tyrone, that said, Wookiees have this thing where if you save their life, they're indebted to you.
Yeah.
Well, clearly Black Kersantan didn't get that memo, because he's working for pay. That nigga was like, I'm not owing y'all, don't owe you shit, but how much you paying? And here we are. So
I mean, I don't know.
I just want to say how a Wookiee rips off arms cleanly without blood. I think the medical, I work in, I work in a medical office. I think we need to reestablish how we do things, because that is fucking incredible. Just clean off, bro. Right. It was cut perfectly. Fucking Dexter type shit. It was great.
Yeah, precision, almost scalpel-like precision, but I just can't get over the fact that there's no blood. That to me stuck out more than anything else in the episode. Frankly, was the fact that there was zero blood. Not even, it could have been red, it could have been pink, but it was indicative to me of the Disney brand. Like Disney's like, look, we'll keep the Star Wars traditions, but bloodlessly. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that it was a little disappointing to me. They won me back with them shooting the bikers in a few scenes after that. But I definitely was like, okay, when Obi-Wan cut off the dude in the bar, when he cut his arm off, I was like, hey, he doesn't like you. He's like, well, all right, it's fine. I don't like you either. Yeah, remember that from Huff?
There was no blood in that scene.
He's like, all right, I'm trying to be more careful. He's like, you'll be dead. and then Obi-Wan shows up.
Yeah, there's no blood in that scene, though.
There was blood in that one. Yeah, there was.
No, it wouldn't be any blood anyway, because the lightsaber would cauterize the wound as soon as you cut it.
No. All right, we have to have a post session, because I will replay that scene for y'all, because it was one of the only scenes that did have blood in Star Wars. And after that, they didn't have the blood in it. I have to. In fact, Daniel, you're in the comments. Can you confirm or deny as we move on whether or not there was blood in this? Uh-oh.
Oh, there are two
Oh,
versions.
was it? I guess
We're all right. They're all right.
Yeah, no, it's one of those. I guess George Lucas when he cut or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, he did a lot of that shit.
Yeah, man. Well, look, I completely remember. Yeah, thanks, George, for you completely divided our panel. Here, we were about to go to.
We all get to be right this time. Yeah, let's have drinks.
I was like, no, I'm logging you off. I'm about to make this into my. Hey, yo, you know what? We just gonna have Vince commentary today. Not just kidding, but I think that was dope. So that happened. Last thing, let's discuss this couple last things, and then let's move on to Peacemaker. We got to talk Peacemaker. I'm so geeked up about talking Peacemaker. Holy shit, that show is like my favorite now. We've already gone over Black King. Okay, so he has his ship back. He went through all this trouble to get his ship back. Now, I got to get this out because for me, this is a little. I've had a love-hate relationship with Boba Fett's ship for multiple reasons. Over the years, Tyrone, as somebody who's familiar with the culture, you might know one of the reasons because it has a very awkward name of one of which I'm sure Stephanie is going to love. But frankly, one of the main reasons I'm not a huge fan of Boba Fett's ship is because engineering, mechanically, and from an engineering standpoint, it doesn't make any sense. The ship pisses me off. First of all, I don't like the name of this ship, and we're going to have to discuss whether or not we're going to rename this shit, because calling the ship Slave One is not going to suffice in a 2022 environment where we all know, unfortunately, despite the fact that we do have so much more in our culture than slavery, we tend to identify because of the way this country was started as slaves. So I don't necessarily like that, and I'm glad that they didn't even bring up the name, but let's be real, that's what it's called. But from an engineering standpoint, bro, the thing that pisses me off about it is, like, you walk up into the ship, but then you lay down, and then it's back.
It's
all right. Look,
so they did. So they're not calling the ship Slave One anymore. That's a decision that they made. He addressed the ship as its like modeled name, which is Fire Spray Gunship, I believe. And I think that's just how they're going to talk about the ship from now on. Okay. So it's like it's like calling an X-wing an X-wing. I think that's just how they're not addressing it. Which again would have been a great opportunity for him to address that. Yeah, I used to sell slaves to people. Like I used to capture free people and sell them to other people. Or I used to, you know what I mean? It would have been I used to wear Wookiee pelts. Like it would have been a really great moment for him to be like, I used to be a pretty bad dude, but now I don't want to be a bad dude. But that's beside the point. So it's no longer Slave One. And they're moving forward without it. But engineering wise, and really none of the ships in Star Wars make much sense engineering wise and aerodynamically and scientifically and stuff. But yeah, this one is particularly weird because it's like, you know, you're in a rush and you're trying to get into your ship and you got to climb, and then you got to like get all weird. Yeah. Just lay down back in my ship real quick. Like you got to, So it's, I feel you. Yeah.
But I mean, it just doesn't make it, because like if you know what, that's a story for another day. That's like an engineering thing. But I can't picture somebody like walking in, sitting back, and that's not what he did. Like when they walked in, he's sitting upright. So and then Fennec on it, I just was like, who the fuck did these blueprints? I want to see the AutoCAD designs because it doesn't make any sense. But you know, that's the whole story. Steph has a good question.
Mm-hmm. Can we return to Boba Fett sold slaves?
Yeah, Boba Fett was a bad dude. Like Wookiees, the people
murderer, but he was a slave. He sold slaves.
He's a bounty hunter, my dear. So anybody who's got a bounty or that people are wanting, he went and did it.
Draw the line at the slave trade.
I mean, it's a big like Wookiees. Wookiees.
He said Steve was a traitor. All right. That's not necessarily what it was.
That's how he made his money.
No, he's a capturer. That's it.
He will capture the slaves.
Yeah.
I mean, he named his ship. He named his ship Slave One. Like,
well,
I don't think he was like, I like that word.
Wait. All right, it's not. Boba Fett didn't name the ship. All right, Jango Fett, his dad, named the ship.
Fair enough. Yeah,
but he didn't.
He never changed it.
He wasn't necessarily.
He's paying homage to his pops, bro. Okay, he's paying homage.
Well, I am now a fan of the Pikes, and I hope they do everything.
I'm not 100% sure that it was Boba who did the slave training. I know he was more of a bounty hunter. I think that Django, because Django actually was a slave at one point in time. It's a whole. It gets real deep. I think that Okay, Daniel, which Daniel might have should have been here, man. I don't know. Daniel is our book. He's our Encyclopedia Britannica when it comes to this stuff.
He is the book of Boba Fett.
Daniel, you are the book of Boba Fett. Yes. So, but the fact of the matter is, we could disagree, or we could go back and research the original origin story of the name. But it was called at one point the Slave One, and yes, slaves are a thing. Now that requires a different mindset to watch something that's involving slaves in a universe where there's 4 black people. Okay. So it's not necessarily that slaves equal black people. Let's also remember the Tuscans, who we've grown to fall in love with in this series, damn near enslaved Anakin's mom, which is the reason why we have this whole Star Wars story. Because on planet of Tatooine, where they held his mom captive, they more than likely we're going to have her in some sort of indentured servitude, but we know how that ended. Anakin and his journey towards the dark side started with what happened with his mom. Of course, 4 out of 5 of us know. The rest of us will learn as we progress. But yeah, so he gets his shit back, and in a moment of what I would like to call holy shit, I'm fucking dumb as shit, he tries to fly into the it's like trying to fly down it's like, look, all right, let's get
dude
to
that wants to run the city.
Yeah, what the hell was going on with this?
He wasn't trying to fly in it. He was just trying to get a better look. It's not like he had a giant fucking flashlight, He's like, let me put this bitch in there. You know what I mean? He's like, all right, this ship has the mechanical ways to make me look into this the way I need to, so that I can climb down and make sure that this shit's not in here. But we didn't know the motherfucker was still alive. You know what I mean? Like,
oh well, yeah. I mean, he's looking down his throat. I wonder how the Sarlacc's breath is. I mean, is this like 28th century dentistry right here? I don't know if he's giving them a filling or whatnot, but he's using this ship to go back to look for his armor that he climbed out the pit with, and then he gets a little closer and learns that it's still alive, and we almost have Boba Fett die by the creature that killed him in the first place. So how dope would that be if this was the last episode and he just showed up and he just died anyway? I don't know how y'all felt about that scene, but I thought that was weird. And then the last thing on the docket that happened that I think was worth discussing is I don't know if y'all peeped this or not, but they did give us some foreshadowing about the Mandalorian. If you're as attentive as I was, those last couple seconds, you even heard the theme music. She says, with money you can buy an army, and then we start hearing the Mandalorian music. My prediction is that we're going to see the Mandalorian in the next few shows.
So Stephanie, you need to watch the Mandalorian is what we're trying to tell you, so you understand like what's going on, what's happening, and why these people are significant. And don't worry, it is way more entertaining than what you have been watching in this season. But yes, you will have a lot of questions about, like Vince said, the baby and all that. And like any questions you have, just ask us. We got you. But I'm just gonna let you know, we don't know who the daddy is, and he gets like everyone's trying to kidnap him. Is the synopsis of the story. Okay?
How many hours?
We don't know who the daddy is.
I watched
it's 2 seasons worth of episodes, so it's going to be tough to catch up in 1 week.
Okay,
but it's really good.
I have a question that's going to make everyone watching this hate me, and I don't care. Is the baby Yoda or not? Because they look the same.
No, it is not.
Okay,
he's like a cousin of Yoda or something. His name is Grogu.
Oh,
right. Hold on. We don't know if it's a cousin.
That's right. Okay, you're right. My bad.
Not all Yodas look alike. All right. They do, from what we know. But if since we're spoiling a little bit, one of the articles of Mystique with regard to that character is that we don't know many of those types of characters, and one of the things that we explore in The Mandalorian is, as to quote one of the stormtroopers, what the hell is that thing? What is that thing? You know what I mean? So look forward to getting some more insight on that. Also, if you know Giancarlo Esposito of Mo Better Blues fame, He was also in Breaking
Do the Right
Bad.
Thing.
He was in Dear White People. He is a pretty. He plays Moff Gideon. Very, very prominent character. Actually, one of the most powerful members of this cast. So I definitely think you got something to look forward to.
So wait, I have one more thing before we move on. Okay, so I forgot to mention this earlier, but this was a very prominent scene for me. So when Boba and Fennec broke into like the palace to steal his ship, did you guys peep the fucking chef robot that had the goddamn General Grievous fucking arms and shit?
Yeah.
That shit was fucking nuts. It got me so fucking hyped. I really want to know, is that the first protocol droid like for Grievous and his fucking, because that nigga would have been scary as fuck, like with the knives to fight. I'm just saying, like, but Fennec and her boss ass, like, and another question is, where the fuck she get all these dope ass tools? Like, you know what I'm saying? She's got the fucking ball. She's got the fucking like metal cutter and shit. Like, there were so many like interesting things that this bitch just had on her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's like, oh, here we go. This thing's gonna float around and show us like what the fuck it does. I definitely thought there was like some interesting shit that I hope that they, I guess, elaborate more on. You know what I'm saying? So that was just what I wanted to.
I really think they should have called this the Fennec Shan show, the book of Fennec Shan, because if it wasn't for her, Boba would have been dead a few times already. You know what I mean? So
and vice versa.
Well, yeah. I mean, for the one time, he did save her.
Daniel, you're so right.
He did spin a bag on her. So I mean, but she just, when it comes to everything that we would have hoped to have seen from Boba and as far as action and everything like that, we get it all with Fennec. Fennec gives it all to us every time she gets on camera, on a scene of fighting, any type of action scene. She giving it.
Are we waiting for some chemistry between maybe Boba Fett and Fennec Shan? I mean,
absolutely not. Absolutely not. The only chemistry. No, she's built for me. And how dare you, try to pander her off to a Boba Fett who doesn't have the balls to stand up to a bunch of weaklings.
Look at him, man. She's feeling him, bruh. She wants the bald head, bro.
No, that's like a sister and brother type bond. Like, she's like, I'm gonna smack you in the back of the head when you get some stupid shit.
Yeah, that's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
I don't know.
Here's my impression of Vince anytime. Here's my impression of Vince anytime there's a man and a woman on screen together. Yeah.
Daniel, how
do it? Yeah.
Daniel, how dare you insult Fennec by calling her a fucking master assassin and then saying she's got a Batman utility belt, bro? Like, you just totally insulted that woman. Like, come on.
You know what he's saying.
She's way cooler than fucking Batman. She got way cooler gadgets.
That's a topic of discussion as well. But yeah, man, all in all, it looks like we have mixed feelings. I'm not gonna lie, this wasn't my favorite episode. It was developmental, all right. It was transactional. We got I like the Black Chrysanthemum scene. I like the meeting Fennec. I like seeing Thundercat, even though I didn't recognize him for who he was when I first saw him. But yeah, go Google the Yasuke theme song. It's called
It's good.
Flying Lotus or something like that. It's one of my favorite songs, and also we got to see him get the ship back, which evidently we are going to whitewash and now call Firefly instead of Slave One.
Fire spray gunship.
Fire spray, all right, whatever, that's fine. So all of that, all in all, and we also going to war with the Pikes, evidently with a 5-man army, of which includes 2 dudes that look like Incredible Hulk had sex with Peppa Pig. All right. Anyway, anything else to discuss on Boba Fett? If so, let's talk about it after the show. We have spent an hour and 15 on it. I really have to. Yeah, the do-rag. Yeah, you're right, Boba. Minnie is right. The do-rag song, of which one of our panel members did use to make quite a fascinating video. I'm not going to say any names, but I'll say handles. Word nerd theft. So we'll talk about that. And I also did agree with you, Minnie, in that that little droid was one of my favorite. The one that they couldn't catch. Terrible bounty hunter.
I don't want the smoke.
All right, cool. But you mentioned Daniel and Yaz, the concept of Batman. Funny that you brought this up, because this was something that was discussed in this week's episode of the Peacemaker. You see what I did there, Tyrone? You like that, right? That's how you do.
That was a top-notch segue. Yeah.
That's fire.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. This week's episode of Peacemaker, bro. There's so much to talk about, bro. I don't know how we're gonna squeeze this in the next 30 minutes or so. But let's just start with the fact that we now have guaranteed 100% proof that the Peacemaker's dad is not only racist, but is like probably one of the most racist supervillains that we've ever seen. And I just want to break this this episode. I want to start off with what I wanted Stephanie to comment on, and I hate to spoil this for you. I hate to, but I might have to because that's what we do here, man. Stephanie, there is a character in this show, and his name is Vigilante. And in this particular episode, he became my favorite superhero. He became my favorite. All right. Yes. So let's just give you a real quick rundown of the sequence of events that occurred in episode 4 of Peacemaker. So Peacemaker, last episode he killed one of the butterflies. You'll learn what the butterflies are. And in this episode, he's coping with that. He's also coping with the fact that they sent his dad to jail. They framed him just so that they keep him in jail. The guy who I think they're calling the judo master, who kind of looks like a battle frog, battle toads. I don't know if y'all remember those battle toads. He was shot, and now they're dealing with him. But one of the biggest things about this episode is we learn more about this dude, the Vigilante, as Vigilante is coaxed by our Adebayo. What's Tasty's name in this episode? Do y'all remember?
Adebayo.
Yeah,
Adebayo. I can't remember her first name for right now, but she ends up telling or insinuating to our good friend Vigilante that he should consider maybe going undercover or going into prison where the Grand Wizard is, this gentleman right here, and killing Peacemaker's father. All right, so he ends up going into prison. I know I'm doing this kind of slow, but there's a reason. All right, so he goes to prison. I have to tell this to you. So he's there, and he confronts Mr. White Dragon himself, along with some friends. There's this scene where he's sitting at the table with their friends, and he sits down with these racist stiffs, and he says, "Hey guys, you guys look like the coolest guys here in the prison. Just want to sit here with y'all and think, hey, maybe we can have a conversation, just talk, because y'all are cool." And they're like, "Yo, what the fuck? If you don't get the hell out of here," he's like, no, guys, come on, please, let's talk. In fact, and I want to read this to you. I want this. This was so dope. So here's what the transcript says.
In the center with the glasses.
Yes, he's Vigilante.
That's
kind of
Vigilante.
Cute in a serial killer way.
Yes. So he's sitting there with these guys around him that are all racists, and he says, "All right, hey, what's up, fellas? Look, you totes seem like the coolest guys in this place. So I was thinking, like we should get to know each other." They're like, "What?" He says, "Let's pick a topic." And then everyone goes around in a circle and says their feelings on that topic. Let's each say something. And this is to a group of white nationalists. Let's each say something that we're grateful for that Black people have contributed to American culture. And then they look at him, they're like, is this dude joking? He says, no, hey, I'll go first. I'm grateful that Black people gave us rock and roll music. Leonard Skinner, ZZ Top, 38 Special, all those guys owe everything to Black American folk and blues musicians. I mean, they wouldn't exist without them. And then white redneck music would just sound like, well, what it sounded like before Black people, which was the wet, sloppy sounds of fucking your sister. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, meet Mr. Vigilante. Now, not only is that happening, but this dude is in there with a half cut off pinky toe. And in addition to that, he still doesn't want people like, the funniest scene in this whole shit was he didn't have his costume on or whatever. And then Tasty, or whatever her name is, Adebayo, she's like, "Oh, hey, Vigilante." He's like, "Oh, wait, hey, I'm not vigilante. He's like, you sound like vigilante. He's like, no, I don't.
And Jason's voice.
No, I don't even know what vigilante is. You know, I'm trying to tell you, like, this show does this shit right, bruh. It takes serious shit, it addresses it, but in a manner that is comedic enough that you take it serious, but you don't take it so serious that you're angry about it afterwards. And I have to say, I was caught off guard by this show because it is now my favorite show that is currently running. And that is with Ozark going live as well. Ty, I get the feeling you feel the same way as me, Bad Ty.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, from the onset, when we saw the Suicide Squad, I thought Peacemaker's character was hilarious. I said it then, and it kind of transitioned well to his own show. I'm in love with this show as well. Every time this show comes on, that dance at the beginning of the thing, listen, I watch every intro, even though you don't have to. I watch every intro, and I'm gonna tell you, I think I'm almost got that dance routine down.
Wait.
As soon as I get it totally down, I will perform it right here on the New Blerd Order.
Okay, so hold on. Do you know what Austin said to me the other day? He said, I love the intro so much. Like, at first we were both like, we watched it, we're like, what the fuck? But we're on episode 4 now, so we're like, he loves it. He said that we need to come up with our own like that should be like our opening and close. And I'm like, how the fuck do we all look fucking doing some dumb shit like
TikTok people,
like them. We look like them, and I want to look like them. I personally will do it for us. I will take that one on the nose. But listen, I love this show. I'm with you, Vince. You guys know how I felt about Titans. I threw away my DC fan card and into an abyss that I never thought I would have to go into to find. But listen, I was out there last night in that abyss with my flashlight and my sanitized gloves, and we're gonna find that fandom that I once had for DC again. And right now, Peacemaker is doing a damn good job of keeping me motivated on finding that fandom. But I love this show, man. There's so many good things about the show.
Tyrone, I have never been a John Cena fan. All right, I've seen all the memes. I've heard it. Oh, John Cena. I get it. My daughter is a huge John Cena fan. I've always looked at his head and been like, what the fuck is going on in that head? Like, it's a literal rectangle. Like, there's no curvature in his head. You know? But this show has made me a John Cena fan, bro. And I mean, he's killing his role. He's so perfectly fit for it. But there's a few other things that happened in this episode too that I think are noteworthy. One of the other things that I thought was, and I've been taking notes. I recommend y'all do the same because I forget stuff that happens so often. One of the things that I thought that again, man, I know Steph has so much going on in the week, but I was so ready to hear Steph's take on this. Stephanie, he gets into a quarrel with an old gentleman on a lawn where he basically says, "Hey, dude, you said you were a superhero. Well, do you have like a bunch of superhero people villains that want to come kill you? A cast of superheroes or whatever he called them?" And he was like, "No, I don't." He's like, "Well, Batman does." He's like, "Well, you know where mine are? They're all 6 feet under because I fucking killed them." And he's like, "Dude, see, that's what I'm saying. Batman doesn't kill." He's like, "Because he's a fucking pussy." You know? And it's like there's this whole conversation. There's this whole conversation about that. What's up, Talim?
Do you know who that guy is?
No.
So do you guys? Well, you guys wouldn't remember this, but way back in the day, they had a Batman TV show that used to come on like when I was a little kid. It was really, really old. I want to say that he is the Boy Wonder. I want to say he's the one that played Robin.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah. I want to. And I haven't confirmed this, but I'm pretty good with faces, and I really think that he's the original Boy Wonder.
What? Oh, we breaking news.
I'm gonna have to look this up right now.
Yes, let's get some confirmation going
here,
man.
Sure I'm right.
I'm
right, but
hold up. Yo, I'm not seeing it. I hope you're right. We'll leave Yaz. Yaz is on the Yaz is
What's
doing
his name?
fact
I
checking.
mean, I just got to find out his name, but I'm
I
pretty
don't know
sure
his name right now, but I'm sure it's on the credits.
he's the one that used to be like, "Oh, damn it, Batman." You know what I'm saying? Like he's like, but this was the old school, like this the old school. So that's why I was like that why do they keep spotlighting him? You know what I mean? I think
that
he
would
has
make
like
sense.
the real ties to DC comic.
I'm actually looking up I don't know. Okay, so the guy who played Robin in that show, his name is Burt Ward. I don't see him credited in Peacemaker.
Yeah, I don't either.
Don't know if
What's the guy's name?
The actor's name is Burt Ward.
Oh no, this guy's name.
Oh, this guy. I think his name is Mel Tuck.
Mel Tuck. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now you got us in full research mode while we're up here, man. We've got millions of people behind the scenes right now that are Googling
is that guy?
I hope you're right for your credibility's sake.
But I mean, like I said, I didn't research it. So
I'm just messing with you, man. It's all good. That's a good observation either way. But at the end of the day, I thought that this was hilarious. He basically goes and says, "Look, bro, Batman sucks." Because not only is he too pussy to kill everybody, but he's actually putting more people in danger by locking these folks up. Eventually, they end up breaking out and killing more people. If he would just kill them in the first place, we wouldn't have these problems. And that's like his argument. Look at Steph is over there with the rewind. So there's like a whole, I don't want to say anti, but kind of like a look. I don't give a fuck what Batman did type of theme that's behind this. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. Like they don't shy away from addressing other stuff from other comic books, which I think is dope. They also in this episode, I think one of the things that is very, very revealing, and this is one of the things that I actually think that Steph and maybe some of us may have an issue with, is there is a topic that I want to discuss before we wrap up about the concept of racists reforming and breaking the cycle of generational racism. I think that what we may be witnessing in this show is a window into what that's like. Basically, we've got a guy named Peacemaker who has a completely 100% racist dad, but is in denial about it. There's a point in time in the show that Adebayo was like, your dad is a bad person. He's like, yeah, but he's my dad. He's like, well, he's like really racist. He's like, well, that was a long time ago. He's like, he thinks that people that have my shade of skin are second-class citizens. And he's like, yeah, that's not bad. He's like, that sucks. But he's my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like is this inner struggle he has of trying to like separate the racist fuckery of this asshole and also not dismiss his father, which even in that token in this episode, we learned that he had him do a bunch of really fucked up shit as a kid. He had him like, doing, committing murderous acts. There's even this questionable scenario that happened with his little brother. So there's reason for him to not have any good feelings according to the memories for his father, but still, despite his racism, despite all of that, he's still clinging to the relationship. And I guess he's hoping that he can change his mind. This is a real story, in my opinion. This is a story that's not told, where we've seen the TikToks. There's during the Black Lives Matter movement, during George Floyd, there were people that were like, look, mom, fuck you and fuck this shit you're spewing about police. God damn it. George Floyd did not deserve to die. And then they're putting these joints on their social media. They're saying like, well, look, he was a bad guy. He did this and that to his pregnant girlfriend. He's like, mom, what the fuck are you talking about? And that whole dynamic, I think, is being explored in this series. The racist father, the racist parents, the racist generation being confronted by a conflicted generation following them and having to come to terms with whether or not they're going to follow in their parents' footsteps or if they're going to lead in their own manner. And that, in my opinion, is the crux. But thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Yes,
all right, I did my homework. So, Mel Tuck was not in any Batman.
Okay.
I checked every, like I went.
No. Listen. I like I said, I didn't confirm it. And
yeah, you're good. I'm just
no, you're right.
So I just went like way back to make sure like what he has been in. That was like, technically DC, and he's in DC Legends of Tomorrow. That was made in 2016. He's in that TV show, and he's in Travelers. As for movies and stuff like that, he hasn't really been in much things that we like would probably remember him from, to be honest with you. Like Unforgotten might be one that you guys remember him from.
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah.
Okay, and then another movie could be what else? Buddy Games. I don't know if anyone saw that, but he was in that movie that like came out like 2 years ago or something like that. And then he's in just like a bunch of older movies that like, I've never even heard of. So
well, there goes your dream, Ty. Sorry, brother. You said you knew him.
He's a funny asshole man.
It's okay.
Yeah, man.
All right.
I mean, if there's any consolation, he does kind of have some resemblance to some folks that I have seen on screen at some point in time. I don't know if you all ever watched SpongeBob growing up. Anybody here ever watched SpongeBob?
Yes.
He looks like him.
Oh my God.
This dude looks almost
Mermaid Man?
exactly like Mermaid Man, bro. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Mermaid Man, but if they did make a Mermaid Man movie, then I have to say this guy is going to get my vote as Mermaid Man. He get from the back. He's definitely got the figure to take that. But yeah, maybe that's what you were thinking instead of the Batman thing. I think that's what
maybe yeah.
Yeah, but those are the things that stood out to me in this episode. I mean, there's also a couple other developments. But any idea, guys? Does anybody here have any idea like what could have possibly happened with his little brother growing up? That was something that very much stuck out to me. I don't know if he had a seizure. Did he cause the seizure? What it was?
It looks like poison.
It looks like poison, and also so like, if you've ever been hit in the face and like in the nose, like doctors tell you if you push your nose up so far into your brain, it can kill you almost instantly or within a couple of days.
Oh shit.
So like your bridge of your nose right here into your skull, if it's pushed up high enough, it can literally like, that's why like, people always tell like use your palm, you know what I'm saying, for the nose. It's a good defense mechanism because it will completely like disable somebody. It can also kill you. And the way that kid was hit and the force and everything, that could have maybe been a thing. But yeah, it also does look like maybe he was poisoned or something. You know what I'm saying? Like something was in his system because the whiteness that came out of his mouth with the blood is understandable. And like, see how his bridge of his nose is a little fucked up?
Yeah.
Because I paused on this too because I was like, wait a minute, like this is a little weird right here. Like I don't know what the fuck happened, but like I mean, I guess if you think about it, you know what I mean. It could cause like a seizure to happen. And maybe that's what happened is like he did that happened and it caused him to have a seizure and that's how he died.
All right.
Like,
however he died, clearly Peacemaker is at odds with himself. He feels some level of responsibility in regards to whatever happened with his brother. And we keep on, this is like what, maybe the third time we've seen the flashback of him killing Flag. You know what I'm saying? So like it's like he's really, at this moment where he's realizing some of the things that he's done, some of the things that he's been through. And I think we're seeing him transitioning from anti-hero to possibly hero throughout, and we're kind of seeing that transformation.
Yeah. Tyrone, how you felt? Are you caught up with this, man? How you feel about this episode?
Oh yeah, no, I think it's just another one in a really good string of episodes. I mean, this show's been killing it, hitting it on all cylinders. I think you're right. From the very beginning, I was like, oh yeah, they're jumping into race. They're exploring it like for real here. And from a perspective that we're not used to seeing, on TV and in superheroes, is like from the perspective of this guy who, if you asked him, I think I might have even said this in the first, after the first 3 episodes, but like, if you ask Peacemaker, he'd be like, I'm not racist. I think, that he talked about it in the first episode. I'm not racist.
Right.
But then as he's exploring and as he is actually surrounded by people of color He's hearing different experiences. He's experiencing different things himself. Like he's starting to realize, like, oh shit, like maybe I'm closer to being racist than not racist. And I love watching this journey. And what you were talking about earlier with John Cena, I've never been a big John Cena fan myself. I mean, he was, I was kind of like, okay, John Cena, whatever. But this role definitely is perfect for him, and it has allowed him to kind of add a sense of like almost like being a child to this very weirdly powerful human being, that just looks like an action figure, all disproportionate and stuff. But, but he's, there's so much of a vulnerability as he's figuring shit out about himself. And it's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, man. I think there's an area of space that's being explored in this show that has not been explored in any other show that I'm aware of. And that is the concept of white ignorance to racism and how to explore it, how to approach it, how to address it. And this is the perfect quintessential character. I mean, bruh, Stephanie, look at this is the villain's outfit, bro. This is our villain to be here. Yeah, that's who we're fighting. Yeah. Yeah, we even in this episode we even got a glimpse of his costume, which to DC's credit, I love how they're keeping true to the comics, supposedly, even though I didn't read the comics. But you can see that they're trying to keep true. Here's the costume, and even there was a tidbit dropped by the vigilante. He was like, "There's kinks in the armor" or something of that sort. But this is the depiction of it. This is what it looks like in the comic book. So I mean, it's almost spot on, bro. Like they are really doing this comic book justice, and they're giving these characters personalities that we don't typically see in superhero shows. I mean, for the vigilante, bro, this dude, the way he went to jail.
That was hilarious.
Oh my god, Stephanie, you have to watch this shit. That shit was classic.
Hilarious.
It's like this gimpy ass dude walking through the grass in a courtyard of police, right? Like they're just having lunch and shit, and he grabs a heavy motherfucking trash can that's like way away from where he's trying to fucking like throw it, and he has to like. And all these cops are just sitting there like watching him like, what the fuck is this dumbass doing? Like, and he's just like and then finally he's like, okay, I can get this, I'm gonna pick it up, and he's like struggling to pick it up, and then he just like tosses it against the window and breaks it, and is like, what's up? And like it's fucking classic. Like you're just like, who wrote this? This is fucking epic. Like
I mean, just I want you to think about what she's describing. Here's a guy who goes into a courtyard full of cops, goes to a trash can, sees windows, like, you know what, I'm gonna throw that trash can through that window. He goes over to it, and the trash can is like way too heavy. So he's like, he's like finally gets it over there, throws it up, and this is a guy who could barely get a trash can over to a window, but he also is balls enough to sit in front of these freaking Klan members and be like, yo, fuck you. You owe everything you have to black people, and proceeds to beat the living shit out of them. Yeah. At the side, this motherfucker, look at him. He's like 80 pounds soaking wet. And he's like one of the strongest dudes fighting wise on this show. He took on all 5 of them at once, yo. You know what I'm saying? In a manner, and he did it smart. He goaded them, which is what the white dragon says. He's like, you're not gonna. He's like, come on, boy, won't you hit me too? And he's like, no, you're not gonna goad me because I know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all hearing my phone ringing? All right, that's the thing.
And Stephanie, after he did it, the I think like that kind of like made it so funny. Was right after he got into the altercation with these Aryan dudes, the black dude who got punked the last episode was the dude that wound up being the snitch.
Yeah,
who told the police like that guy didn't do nothing. They just jumped him.
Right. This is one of the few times where, like, you know, normally when we're dealing with racial justice and racial reckoning, we are expecting and hoping that comes in. I know I feel like I'm speaking in a strobe light right now, but no worries. We're expecting or hoping that racial reckoning comes from a strong black character, right? Like a Luke Cage or like a T'Challa. here's an instance where the other end of that spectrum is being explored, where there's clear racial reckoning that we need to have, but instead of it coming from the forceful hand of like the Falcon, you know, or somebody where they're speaking from the point of the oppressed, we got somebody who doesn't even realize he was the oppressor and he's dealing with it. And that's kind of it's a fascinating and different approach, one that we've yet to see, which I think is why I'm like saying that this show gets the gold star. I have yet to see anything in it that I don't like about it. I can keep it real. Like I don't see, even as I love the little Asian dude, the little freaking judo dude. This Peacemaker is getting his ass kicked by everybody, and he's the biggest dude. he's the biggest dude in the series, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't know when he's sexist or not. He tells the one that he's like, not trying to be sexist or nothing, but your tits look great in that.
The tank top, yeah.
And I don't mean that in a sexist way. I just mean like, you know.
Right. And he just like walks away, and she's just like sitting there like drinking her beer, like why?
He gives him a look back like. Oh, did you say something? Nope. Oh, all right. I thought I heard you say something. So, prediction. I think that the lovely little white lady that he does have a crush on is going to end up having a crush on Vigilante. Leave that alone. That's a whole prediction. I also think that we're gonna get a little more Amanda Waller in this series, because a lot of this is predicated on Amanda Waller being they're kind of casting her like a villain.
Yeah, she's ruthless as fuck. No disregard for human life. You know what I mean? Like they literally say that like when they like speak about her. And then the crazy part is like Tasty is technically her daughter in this show. Like that's what we have learned, but no one else knows that on the crew. And she's just hearing everything because these people have worked with Amanda Waller. They have seen her. They watched her get knocked the fuck out by another crew member, and that's why they're here. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah. So you know what we're talking about, right, Steph? I love how when we talk about shows that Steph doesn't know, how the attention all goes to bringing Stephanie on board. When Wakanda comes out, when all these other shows come out, we're gonna be like, okay, Steph, what happened now? The roles are gonna be reversed because I know she reads the books, you know, so she'll become the Daniel Biddle of Wakanda. But for right now, we're dealing with stuff. We're bringing her into the world, so you are embodying the folks who aren't into this universe. But yeah, man, Steph, bruh, please, bruh, this is not Boba Fett. This show has substance, real world, real life substance. Yes, Steph.
I am excited for episode 4, and I will say I do appreciate that they have white people cleaning up each other's messes. Like, white people, hold each other accountable. It shouldn't always be up to us to deal with your racist family members. So I appreciate that. And also the fact that like it is such a very white man thing to commit a crime in front of the police and not be worried about getting murdered. So I'm glad that they had him do that shit because Adebayo couldn't have gotten away with it.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's a good real life point to bring up. In this instance, Adebayo would have just called her mom, and she probably would have just had the police killed. Like the way that they have this set up is like the most fierce, ruthless person in this series is the black lady, the dark
black lady.
How to Get Away with Murder black lady who runs a bunch of people with bombs implanted in their heads and says, try to run from us and we'll just explode your ass. Like they have flipped this shit something serious. The most ruthless motherfucker is Amanda Waller. The most racist motherfucker is the hero's father. This whole shit is fucked and I'm here for it.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'm still at odds with Tasty's character. I don't know if Adebayo is playing the role of this naive rookie or if that's really genuine, because there's moments in the show where I feel like it's genuine, but then there's moments like when she shot the little judo guy, like it just, the timing of her shooting him was like he was about to tell Peacemaker what the butterflies are, and she just so happens to come at that moment and shoot him right before he can tell him what the butterflies are. It leads me to believe that she's a lot more she knows a lot more than what she's alluding to. Plus the fact that she is Amanda Waller's daughter. The apple might not fall too far from the tree, but I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but you guys feel the same way or what?
It's a great observation, Tyrone.
That's a great observation for sure. Yeah.
I think her not doing certain things is not because of her inability. I think it's because she's holding her cards close to the chest. I think we'll end up finding that she's much more capable than she is making herself out to be. We're seeing that like the sides, the battle lines aren't really clear. It was revealed in the end of this episode that there are some double agents at work. So we don't know what at the moment. We don't even know what the sides are, because of the reveal at the end. So, I think my prediction is that she's there to potentially flush out any butterflies that are within the organization.
So I have a quick question for you guys. You guys obviously see the butterfly that he took and didn't kill and lied to them about it. And he has it in the fucking jar, little fairy thing, and has it in the fucking jar.
You got it high.
Say what?
He smoked it out.
Right. Okay. So he's over here drinking, getting high and shit. He's blowing fucking shotguns into the fucking glass and little things just hanging out, and then it rolls to him, and then Eagly comes to him. You know what I'm saying? Like at first Eagly was trying to kill that thing. Now they're becoming friends. So I don't know. I think maybe do you guys have any predictions that he might become a butterfly?
Who?
Cena. He might open the jar and ingest the butterfly. I think once they find out the black dude's a butterfly, I think the black dude's gonna try and maybe conform him into maybe eating or ingesting the other one, the one he has, and what I'm saying, going in the cult or something like that. Because you gotta think about it, the black dude is the one that's making sure that he understands this is all the mission is the most important fucking thing. Finding all the butterflies. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think about it. And then this motherfucker's eating out of the bowl. So you know what I'm saying? It's kind of contradictory in certain aspects of it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking maybe that's what they're alluding to is maybe somehow that butterfly is going to be ingested by somebody on the team. I think.
I think there's something a little more I don't want to say devious, but there's something a little more relevant at foot. Yes, bring up a good point. We did learn that the gentleman here is indeed a butterfly. How do we learn? Because he has specific eating habits that would indicate that he is. But in addition to that, he wasn't the only one to address these. If you recall, little judo master was trying to tell, like he said,
Right.
Peacemaker. He was like, "Yo, look. You don't understand about the butterflies. They're not what you think they are." And then pow, you know what I'm saying? He goes down. So I think that we're going to learn that the butterflies aren't necessarily as villainous as they're making them out to be, that they're more complex. I'm curious as to whether or not Amanda Waller and everybody else at headquarters knows about old boy being a butterfly, or if that's a secret or not. I think that we'll have to wait to find out. But Ty, you're spot on, bro. That is a great observation. Not only because she's sitting there boohoo crying and pouting the last couple episodes about, I ain't never killed nobody, man, and I ain't never hurt nobody. My mama told who told Harpo to hit me, and then in this one, she was like, pow. You know what I'm saying?
He didn't even have any weapons. He was just straight up on a fist fight, and you shot him in the chest. You didn't try to disarm him. I mean, hit him in the leg, hit him with a little wounding shot. Nah, she shot him dead in the chest with the intent on trying to kill him and shut him up.
Yeah, man, that is a great point. I guess we'll have to watch with interest to see whether or not Amanda Waller Jr. Starts to follow in her mom's footsteps or not. But either way, I'm completely on board, bro. This show, man, talk about a sleeper. This joint came out of nowhere, and I'm ready for the whole ride. We got to start wrapping this up, guys. I got to get this done before 2 hours. I learned recently that we can't repost the show if it's over 2 hours. So we only got 12 more minutes. But I did want to revisit the question of the day before we go. If you recall, Stephanie, our Star Wars expert, had a question of the day that she brought up earlier. I'll bring it back up on screen. But if you don't mind, just refresh our memory, Steph. What was the question of the day? And I hope y'all got your answers ready. We'll start with Yaz, go to Tyrone, and then I'll close up. But if you got one, go ahead, Steph.
I do. I'm ready. So, what celebrity do you feel needs to make a cameo in the Star Wars universe? Mine, when I say it, is going to be so obvious. You're going to be like, why didn't I think of that? Erykah Badu, okay? The woman is an alien already. She's got the look, she's got the lingo, and I mean it in the very best way. I love Erykah. She says herself that she's been waiting for the aliens to come and get her. She's outside playing the music, singing the song, doing all the things, and is offended that they haven't come for her yet. So I just think she would be such a wonderful fit somewhere in the Star Wars universe, maybe even as a musician singing. They don't need to give her prosthetics, anything. She's beautiful and otherworldly already. So I would love to see Erykah Badu somewhere in Star Wars.
Wow, that is a good answer. Yas, we'll go to you, then Tyrone, then Talim. Or if you need more time, feel free to pass it on because this is question.
I'm gonna pass it because like I'm still like in between my decision. So
okay, all right. Ty, you got one ready, bro? You ready for Ty? You stumped them this morning. y'all had one job, man. You got an hour and a half. Tyrone, what's up, bro?
Okay, so they're obviously going to need a new chef bot. So I think we need Chef Gordon Ramsay to be the guy who runs all the food at Boba's palace. So that's my celebrity, guys. Chef Gordon Ramsay yelling at droids in the kitchen.
Chef Gordon Ramsay is just all right. Fair enough. All right. Well, if y'all don't have yours, then I guess go ahead, Ty. Go ahead.
Lawrence Fishburne. But the version that I want is the Ike Turner. I need Ike Turner to pull up to Boba Fett's meeting where he's trying to get all of the dudes to be on his side and everything. And I need Lawrence to come in there with cake and make everybody at the table eat some and show him how you get the job done the first time. Because you need a backbone, and there's nobody out there with backbone like Ike Turner. God damn it! So, so I would like to see Lawrence Fishburne, aka Ike Turner, pull up to Star Wars and lay the smack down.
All right, I'll go and then we'll finish up with you, Yaz. I have two, and I'll give them to you in order of seriousness. The first one is completely comical, and I think that I wouldn't mind seeing Eddie Murphy somewhere in a cantina, maybe even doing jokes. I don't know. He could even be the donkey from Shrek. Hey man, she think I'm a Steve. You know what I'm saying? I would not mind. He's already been to space. We've all loved Pluto Nash. All right, everybody here loved Pluto Nash, right? Nobody said anything bad about Pluto Nash, right? Right? Do y'all even know what it is? Well, anyway, I think Eddie Murphy would be a funny character to kind of have since they're putting in random cameos anyway. But I really, the real, like if we're talking seriously, I would like, and I don't even, you know what? I think this is the wrong answer. I want to see the cameo from Eddie Murphy, but I would like to see Jackie Chan as somebody who's actually a member of the Star Wars universe. I think that he would make sense as somebody who's always a defensive martial artist in this universe, especially. I wouldn't mind seeing Jackie Chan as a new member, but Eddie Murphy would be my cameo. Yaz, you still look stumped up. Yaz is Googling.
No. I'm just Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is a good one. But are you ready for mine?
Heck yeah.
Okay, so just because we already had Samuel L. Jackson, and he's in there, so technically I can't use him, as somebody, but I would love to see Pootie Tang come back as Samuel L. Jackson. And fucking everybody, bro. That would be epic. Tell me that would be epic.
One time,
belt lightsaber, bro, he'd be killing shit.
Could you imagine? He takes his lightsaber from around his belt, from his belt buckle. It's like whooping up the Trindoshes. Yo, I would love it. I would love to see a lightsaber duel between Darth Maul and Pootie Tang's belt. It's like a dual-sided. What if it's like a dual-sided belt? It's like all right, I went to.
And then at the end, he'd be like, "What a time, my Damie." You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it'd be great. But that was my first one. Okay, so my second one would be, you guys remember the movie The Fifth Element, obviously, right? You remember Chris Tucker's character in The Fifth Element? You know, like him. Like, I would love to see him in Star Wars. That shit would have me fucking dying. Like the outfits, oh my fucking god! I would love it. But those are my two choices, so that's why I wanted to be last. Sorry.
Come on, man. Shut up. All right. Yeah, you gotta dedicate Fifth Element. Good stuff, man. The comments are lit up too. I see some other folks thought Chris. I see we got Chris Tucker in the comments. Keanu Reeves. Keep them coming, y'all. Do us a favor. Send us a quick 20 to 30 second clip telling us who your cameo would be, and we'll add you to our video, some of which are getting tens of thousands of views, so that we can say, hey, look, man, we have a lot of folks that watch us and also have opinions on this subject. So we got to wrap this up real quick, guys. The time is counting down. We only got like 4 more minutes before I can't repost this anymore. Thank y'all. We're gonna go ahead and stick around for a little bit after this if y'all ain't got nothing else going on. Thank you, Stephanie, for the question of the day. It was a great one. But let's go ahead and wrap this up by saying, as usual, of course, be your authentic self. If you ain't being yourself, you're being fake, and don't nobody want or appreciate nor respect anybody who's being fake. So tighten your ass up and tune on in. Y'all know, go follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Smash that button. And in all things, if you're a geek in real life, go ahead and make sure you let that geek flag fly. Dude.
Fighter 2, I just really hate Zangief, only Ken and Ra. You, I find it hard to be blank. I keep a wee ninja hanging and the uncle album banging. If you negative in energy, then stay out the vicinity. Yeah, them niggas over there. Yeah.